Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back with another video from Chuck, and we are checking out his debunk video on Hulk versus Broly. Now, I did watch the Death Battle video, and Broly won. I was quite happy with the results, and as soon as I remember last time I watched the debunk, I was like, oh wow, so they were wrong about who should win the fight. And it wasn't actually like the results, it was the information that was given. I think it was Roshi versus Jiraiya, yeah, that Seth did. So I don't know if he's like debunking why Broly shouldn't have won kind of thing, or the information that was given. So we're just going to go into it and check out Hulk versus Broly Death Battle Debunk.
Hey, what is poppin', guys? It is your boy Chuck,
Yo.
and I hope all of you had happy holidays and have been staying safe. So, Death Battle has recently released their video of Hulk versus Broly, and
I like the animation on it, it's pretty good.
I thought about it, and to put it simply, straight off the bat, they messed up in quite a lot of ways.
Damn.
Before we get into it, I just want to MV4 a lot of commenters that I usually get on these types of videos that say, you're just a Dragon Ball tar, you're just a Dragon Ball hater, you're a Marvel hater, you're, whatever the hell, right?
Yeah.
Look, I'll have you guys know that I have a Thanos body pillow and also a limited edition Goku Black body pillow.
Nice.
And I may or may not have a Kefla figure, which I may or may not do stuff with on the weekends. But for real, I do like both of these verses a lot. I have read and watched a bunch of stuff about them, so I'm going to try to be as objective as possible. I'm not going to be picking favorites here. And with me today to cover the Marvel scaling and cosmology is your favorite villain, formerly known as Sir Splash or Realm of Splash, who has been on his channel before.
Alright, cool.
He was with me a couple years back on the Thanos vs. Darkseid video. So, say what's up, man.
What's up, guys? Thank you for
What's up,
having
man?
me. Not my first time here. He's been on my channel as well. I'm excited to do this. Like he said, I'll mostly be discussing Marvel portions of the video and where they went wrong.
Yeah, man, definitely pretty good to have you on here. Now, the thing with this battle is that I saw some Dragon Ball channels say that it was accurate. Well, no. Don't listen to what they say. They never read a comic. Anyway, so we're going to be discussing the main battle itself alongside what they said in the
I mean, I was happy with the results. Obviously, same with me. I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, so it's like, yeah.
Let's go in on this. So first, let's go over the whole Umar multiplier, which I guess you could say is a decent estimate. And, sure, XT left funny, Hulk smash meme, whatever. But there are better ways to scale Hulk, like with Pandora's Box.
Right.
Now, the thing with Pandora's Box is that it was stated to have the output of Hercules by over 133 times. And Hulk was able to withstand this energy, and although he did revert back into Banner, he immediately came back into Hulk.
Oh, right, okay, so he didn't die from it.
At that point, so he would still scale to it. And the thing with Hercules is that he has universal scaling, like when he stated that he could shake the universe, which is infinite, and when he lifted the cosmos for Atlas. Now, I'm not saying that Hercules is consistently showcased to being universal, but, Death Battle likes to use higher-end feats, as they clearly did here, so this would apply anyways. And Hercules would scale to Thor, who has fought Hulk, and who himself has a lot of crazy feats.
Yes.
A big thing to note for this time period is it's not like it was today. They're a lot more loose with the cosmology, as in letting you go big in terms of higher dimensions, otherworldly beings. It's one of the reasons they had to retcon characters like Doctor Strange. It just got too strong.
Too ridiculous.
So
Okay.
They were a lot stronger back then. That's why they had a lot more freedom with the power. The reason this is important is they introduced feats from this era of comics, and they said that we have to consider it at their peak. We've seen Thor take on classic Doctor Strange. Classic Doctor Strange was able to battle Dormammu.
Oh, damn.
The Dark Dimension, at least described at this time in Strange Tales, is considered to be beyond mortal comprehension, mortal language, and mortal understanding.
So
that's wild because humans like
mad
Richards
stuff going on there.
Use items that are higher dimensional. Humans have used the Cosmic Cube before, which comes from the power of the Beyonders, who are completely outside of dimensionality. So there's a whole bunch of wild, high-end scaling for these characters, and I'm gonna get into more why the realms in the cosmology is very important, because they bring up a feat with a character named Nightcrawler, and you really have to look further into that feat to understand why they just hilariously lowballed it.
Oh, okay.
The reason this matters is because Hercules, Chuck said he was universal, but back then Hercules was doing even crazier stuff than that. In fact, in the 1960s when him and Thor clashed, it was stated no mortal or immortal in Marvel Comics had ever been hit by something like that before.
Oh,
That's
damn,
wild
right.
because characters like Zeus have literally fought the Titans that could consume primordial gods. So you have crazy
so you're saying
scaling
that, like, that's
you have the
more
fact
powerful
that
than that.
classic Doctor Strange
Jeez.
was getting overwhelmed by Loki, and when Thor showed up, Loki wanted no problems. So it's quite obvious back then that these characters scaled to beings that were either vastly beyond universal, extra-dimensional,
Beyond comprehension.
And with characters like Hercules, we've even seen them do things that you would consider, quote, outer-versal, like throwing the strongest blow in Marvel Comics.
Yeah, so it definitely gets pretty crazy, and
It
as I
gets
mentioned,
ridiculous.
Hercules did say that he could shake the universe, which is infinite, and this
Excuse
matters
me.
a lot because in their Q&A, they were asked, hey, why didn't you guys bring up this scan that says that the Marvel universe is 1 trillion light years across? And they were like, oh, it's because, these scans came out after our research. Which, okay, but here's the thing, though. There's been multiple scans, decades-long scans that came out even before the fucking internet was a thing.
Oh, yeah,
that
of
have
course, yeah.
said that the Marvel universe is infinite. Okay, it's been stated.
So
by
it's not
multiple
right. So it has
characters.
been said before.
So going off of this already, Hulk would be able to destroy over 130 infinite universes, which in itself would already be greater than whatever they calculated for Broly, which would be composed of finite universes.
Oh my god.
And he's also the thing, though, because they also downplayed the cosmology for Dragon Ball because they mentioned the Daizenshu, but the Daizenshu states that the living universe is infinite or endless, and even if you don't want to accept it as being that big, it is definitely far larger than our universe because it has countless or infinite galaxies with innumerable nebulas and innumerable planets. So it is definitely far larger than normal. And they never actually covered why the macrocosm is like 9 times universal, which, okay, it's like a decent estimate, but it can be calculated to be much larger going off the very map they showed.
Jeez.
If you use the volume of a sphere formula in heaven, a planet that is as wide as the universe, and you try to estimate the radius of the afterlife or the top half of the macrocosm, you can easily get the afterlife to being big enough to house over 170 universes. So,
oh god,
as
wow.
you can see, they have already heavily downplayed both
characters,
already.
yeah, jeez.
And that is not even the worst part of it, because one of the gripes that we had, most notably you, was over the feats that they mentioned with Nightcrawler, which, to put it simply, is far, far beyond universal, going off of the cosmology and how beyond earthly dimensions work.
Alright, yeah, so before I get into this, I would like to say me and Chuck, even before the video came out, agreed that consistency, if used, Broly beats Hulk. Like, he should bully Hulk because Broly has less showings, less anti-feats, all that. And they specifically showed Nightcrawler and tried to get away with calling him Universal, which was gross. So, if you want to lowball, it is mentioned in the Marvel guidebook that Nightcrawler, aka Darkcrawler, is literally called extra-dimensional, which is outside what we consider the universe. So, if you want to say Marvel's 4D, like the regular universe with time and space, you'll say it's 5D now.
So they downplayed it.
It's at least transcendental to that, but that's not where we stop because there's also an infinite void you had to cross to even get to his realm.
Oh my
Now,
god, jeez.
To get further into why it's crazy that he beat Nightcrawler and destroyed his realm, not only is it lowball 5D, but Nightcrawler has big beef with the Undying Ones and their leader, Nameless One. Now, the Undying Ones back then were able to take classic Doctor Strange hostage. This is the same classic Doctor Strange that fought the likes of Dormammu, who stalemated Eternity, and he also fought Zom, who bullied Dormammu and Eternity, who had to hug it out and jump his ass because he was too strong. So this classic Doctor Strange got taken down by the Undying Ones.
Oh my god.
Gets bullied by Nightcrawler, and Nightcrawler got one-shotted by Hulk. Not only did he get one-shotted by Hulk and his realm destroyed, he went to the Undying One's realm, said, "Oh look, the bitches," and he freed classic Doctor Strange, who was still prisoner.
Oh my god.
And then he went on to beat up the Undying Ones and their leader. So yeah, Nightcrawler blatantly scales to classic
Doctor Strange, right.
And he said Hulk is the strongest he ever faced before, and his realm and himself got one-shotted by Hulk.
Jeez.
It was pretty damn funny because
That's
Nightcrawler
ridiculous.
literally just went to this realm and was like,
Look at me, sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
and this realm
Dude.
would logically be above Asgard and Olympus, which are rational dimensional realms that are stated to be far beyond the concepts of time and space.
There you go.
Or at least the mortal boundaries of time and space, or even timeless, which you could argue is high 4D or even 5D. So, you know, clearly there are much higher dimensions that would scale from this as well, in which, notably speaking, the dark dimension is one of them, which obviously Hulk would scale to, as we'll get into later on.
Right.
Alright, speaking of dimensions, of course we have to touch on the dark dimension because that's very important. Scaling to classic Doctor Strange because as early as 1964 he fought Dormammu. The dark dimension is not as simple as people think. It's actually stated when we're first introduced to be between what is real and what is imagination. For
Okay,
those
that
like
is a
DC
weird
Comics,
kind of concept.
Imagination is where Mr. Mixie's people live. It's abstract, okay? So you kind of got it in between that. And then you have realms in the dark dimension that are consisting of creatures that are beyond logic, beyond logical contradictions as well, and beyond the normal laws that govern the multiverse. You also have realms, what some people call dualities, basically. We have the realm of existence and non-existence, and this realm has been controlled by characters like Dormammu, powered by them, and also controlled and powered by his sister Umar. Umar, back then, stated verbatim when facing classic Doctor Strange that she scales above infinity. This means Hulk's green schlong was going to war against infinite naughty
Infinity.
and they
Jesus.
just completely downplayed it to Universal. So, like, if you're gonna make
That's
a sex
something
joke,
else,
dog,
isn't
at
it?
least be respectful to women, okay? She's a lot, her naughty parts are a lot stronger than Universal.
Yeah.
Dude, they
Damn.
downplayed her.
It's disrespectful. Sound first
Okay.
Now, when we get to the heart of the monster, like comic book arc, which is when Hulk and Red She-Hulk are fighting the Dark Dimension, the Death Battle cast seem to have missed like two very important feats and statements that are said within it. Within the Dark Dimension, there are these beings known as the Mindless Ones, which are really crazy powerful beings when they've been shown at their strongest. I mean, during the classic Doctor Strange comics, they could literally threaten Dormammu and make him fear for his life to the point that he was like, yo, I'm actually having trouble, man. And Doctor Strange stepped in to help him out. The same Dormammu who literally scales to eternity and characters like that, and obviously powers the Dark Dimension, which literally has infinite dimensions within it.
Jeez.
Sure, their power has varied, but this is mostly due to them being in a lower dimension or realm of existence, which means that their power would logically also drop. But they should be at their usual or at their strongest levels within the Dark Dimension. And this thread is very consistent because during the Heart of the Monster arc, Doctor Strange tells Umar, hey, you're probably gonna need some help if you're gonna fight these Mindless Ones, because obviously they can threaten Dormammu, and Hulk is like, nah, like she only needs me.
And they just go for it.
Pulled up on the Mindless Ones and started cutting their heads off.
Oh
and
my
was
God.
fighting like hordes of them quite easily.
Whoa.
And what I thought was weird is that the Death Battle cast was like making a big deal about the Red She-Hulk and Hulk battle wiping out a planet, which that's not even the biggest thing to take from that, because as their battle raged on, Umar literally stated to them that they were outright destroying her fucking dimension.
Oh,
okay?
whoa.
These two were destroying the Dark Dimension
itself.
which
Wow.
is very huge and scales much, much higher than anything we've seen in Dragon Ball. Okay? This is not unorthodox because Hulk, even before becoming World Breaker and while he was holding back, he was able to beat up Doctor Strange, who had a portion of the power of Zom, who, as Splash mentioned, was literally like Eternity thread level.
Whoa.
Sure, Hulk did basically cheat by breaking Doctor Strange's hands and hindered him, but he still held his own against
He
him.
still
and
did a
pretty
good
much
job.
beat his
It's like,
ass.
we're good now.
I did personally think it was weird they made a big deal out of whether or not they didn't know if Hulk would have a conflict mentally. This is weird because in their generic rules they state you're at your peak performance, so I don't know why peak performance
Why is that a factor
Hulk
then?
would have personality issues. That doesn't make any sense at all. So it's like they're throwing in a cheap excuse, but the cheap excuse
Contradicting
doesn't
their own
work.
rules.
It's not applicable to the conversation at all, so I don't know why they did it.
Another problem was the whole stuff with the One Below All, which, sure, Hulk didn't really beat him and wouldn't skill directly to him, but he still temporarily overpowered the Cloudy Avatar, which, you know, is still pretty significant because this same Avatar, Mephisto was like, yeah, this fool's stronger than me. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, this is actually wild because Mephisto, at his peak, has really good scaling. He scales to the other Hell Lords like Dormammu. He also was going to fight Hela, and it was stated their battle, and the results would be even more destructive than the likes of Ragnarok.
Oh,
And finally, like we mentioned before with Zom, Living Tribunal will interfere if you are considered a threat to the balance of creation, and Mephisto has been visited by Living Tribunal before because he's seen as that powerful of a threat if he chose to be. So yeah, just casual scaling off these characters with their classic scaling and at their highest peaks. Cosmology, when you put it against Dragon Ball, it's not fair.
Yeah, and since you mentioned the whole Ragnarok thing, this can kill beings like Odin. Now, Odin, in his battle against Seth,
Odin
while
is
weakened,
ridiculous.
not only threatened to wipe out the universe, but their battle was tearing at the fabric of the infinite multiverse, as stated by Doctor Strange, and it was outright rippling across every plane of reality, which would easily give it casual hyperversal range, and Mephisto and other characters comparable to him
over-the-top shiz.
One thing I just want to add on to what Chuck said about Odin that kind of reinforces an idea we brought up before is that Dark Dimension and places like that scale beyond human comprehension. Now, Odin, when he fought, was stated to be limited to hyperversal because he only had the mind of a mortal or a human, basically. The mortal mind, or human mind, in Marvel is at least hyperversal based off that. And the Dark Dimension and other places like that are beyond human mind, comprehension, and language. Like I said, it just backs up the fact that these classic versions of these realms massively outscale Dragon Ball.
To make it more simple to understand, think of Broly's power as being able to continuously grow, right? He's in a painting, he may get really powerful over time, he'll extend the boundaries of this painting, but no matter how powerful he gets, if he doesn't outright infinitely become powerful or transcend dimensions, he will always be stuck in this painting or dimensional shell. While Hulk, going by these, feats and the cosmology of Marvel,
can break that dimension.
He has already transcended this boundary or this painting multiple times over, and therefore would slap Broly quite easily. Now, onto the whole Broly side of things, they definitely did him dirty on his power and speed, since they applied the speed of the shockwaves that Beerus and Super Saiyan God Goku performed in the early part of Dragon Ball Super. Which makes no sense, because if Broly became far more powerful than that Goku, his speed would have also increased massively, and going by their logic and calculations, Broly would have Speed Blitz Hulk no contest. Albeit there's like an exception with, say, Ultra Super Saiyan Trunks in his battle with Cell. It is a general rule that if you get more powerful in Dragon Ball, your speed also increases, and there's many examples of this. For example, when Vegeta fights off against Kui, he states that if he got stronger, that logically his speed would
increases with it. Yeah. That just seems to be the way it works.
Piccolo fights Frieza, he's able to hold his own pretty well against him in his second form, but then when he turns into his third form,
he can't keep up with him.
He's too fast, I cannot keep up with him.
Because his speed's gone up,
Hell, when Goku fights off against Dispo, why was Super Saiyan Blue able to keep up with him far better than Super Saiyan God could? Could it be that power-ups actually do increase their speed?
Increased?
What a crazy concept,
My God.
right? There's countless more examples that I could bring up, but you pretty much get the idea, that they heavily downplay Broly's speed going off.
That's crazy.
Their calculations. While I do agree that there is no real quantifiable way to say how many times stronger Broly is than Goku due to Dragon Ball Super never giving us a multiplier to these newer forms, that doesn't mean that you can't take into account or examine the numerous power amps that Goku and Vegeta get during the series. Like in the battle against Goku Black, Goku went from being Bukake by Goku Black numerous times to them being able to overpower him and even injure a suppressed Zamasu, who would already be far stronger than that Goku Black to begin with. You can also assume that Goku got at least 10 times stronger from his battle with Hit, since during their initial tournament encounter, Goku needed Kaioken times 10 to close the gap between them. But then during the rematch, in which Hit was logically more powerful and had killing intent, Goku didn't even need Kaioken during that match.
Because he's got stronger.
Then, when you get to the Tournament of Power, it gets very out of hand quite quickly, because Super Saiyan Blue Goku alongside Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta were able to press Jiren into powering up. This is very important because Belmont was like, whoa, I haven't seen Jiren pumped up like this or powered up like this in a while. And he even says that like he actually showed a hint of his power during that battle. Which means that Jiren is more powerful than the one who blinked away the Universe 7 Spirit Bomb that would logically be superior to the one that Trunks used against Zamasu, and by effect would also be superior to Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta from the Goku Black arc. Which essentially means that Broly surpassed 2 Super Saiyan Blues, who during this point were already more powerful than Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta in the Goku Black arc, who was already far more powerful than 2 Super Saiyan Blues from the same arc, who are leagues upon leagues beyond base Goku. So, yeah, you pretty much get the idea that the power cliffing is really, really huge in the later parts of Super.
So, for real quick, I don't think Chuck's really run into this, but I have because I did a small video on this. There's people that believe Broly wins because he scales to an audience. That's a real dangerous line to go with Marvel Comics, because classic Doctor Strange, several times in Strange Tales, was stated that if his magic was shown, it would kill the reader, and it could
that's
possibly
quite cool.
destroy the comic. So, if you want to try to go with the meme argument, Doctor Strange actually would kill your meme. So,
that's quite funny. I like that argument being approached.
So try to leave the funny, scales to real life arguments at home, because classic Marvel will destroy that.
But as you guys can see here, they misinterpreted the cosmology for both universes, also with the Marvel side of things. So going off of that and his higher end feats, Hulk would literally slap Broly and the whole franchise. No cap. Generally, I do believe that going off of consistency, or like the mean, the average, the mode, or like the most frequent showings for both characters, Hulk would get clapped by Broly since his attack potency, tax resistance, and durability are ridiculously beyond what Hulk is normally capable of. And regarding speed, I do believe that Broly would have the edge due to the aforementioned power creep. But I think that at the very least it would be comparable, since Hulk, Wisco, Thor, and the Silver Surfer, who have crossed infinite universal distances far faster than anyone in Dragon Ball has shown thus far. Now regarding the whole battle and the layout, I did think it was pretty good. The animation was pretty clean, the soundtrack was good.
Animation was class.
For the most part, if you want to go off like the presentation and like how they did like the bios for the characters, I think that's, I guess good. You really can't mess that up anyways. But I do think their scaling and understanding of these verses has gotten better. Definitely far superior to what they did in the past. I mean, I'm pretty sure in the Hulk versus Doomsday battle, they said that Hulk wasn't really light speed or something, even though many of these feats were around for decades. So I don't really understand that. But, generally, I think we did a pretty good job on this. Definitely, we did a lot of research, and there were definitely some headaches, alright?
That was class. That was really good.
But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe to me if you want to see Godzilla content or SCP Foundation stuff. I will also do more Marvel and DC down the line. Please subscribe to my boy, your favorite villain.
And if you want to click the link in the description, that'll take you to the original video, and you can slap a like on it. Go there.
But yeah, anything else you wanted to add, bro?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Chuck. Like we said, me and Chuck both agree we try to get away from how negative debunks used to be perceived. How just people thought of them. This wasn't negative at all. It's not that serious. Like he said, the production quality is always A+. So
just
that's
information.
Always good to see. It's just we wish they were more dedicated to the research, which is what literally decides the results of their channel, but whatever. But yeah, if you guys want to see my content, definitely give me a look. I will be giving a link to Chuck. It'll be probably my classic Strange video to help people more understand the cosmology. Right. So definitely click on the link and check me out. And yeah, Chuck, thanks for having me.
For sure, man. Thanks a lot for being on here. And once again, I'll catch you thoughties next time. Peace out.
That was cool. That was really cool. I like that. So yeah, it wasn't just the information being put forwards, it was the end result as well. So taking all that in, it's like, whoa. Hulk slaps. I'm glad I checked that out. There's still a couple more videos from Chuck I want to check out. There is Byakuya versus Kenpachi, which I think is going to be an interesting one. I think that is with Clyde as well, so that's cool. And there is the ranking the Boo forms, weakest to strongest. You guys have been asking me to check that out for a while now, so we still got 2 more Chuck videos to do, and there's still other stuff to check out, so cool. Until then, thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe, and leave comments down below. Then we'll watch us in future videos, and I'll see you guys next time.